Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co, and today I'm reviewing Blob Party from WizKids. Blob Party is a 1 to 8 player party game, although I will say you could play this game with as many players as you want, and actually it works great at larger player counts. The only problem is you'll probably need slips of paper, because you only get 8 of these and 8 markers, which means you'll have to, like, fudge some rules, but it's not hard. It really isn't. You can have people write on their phone. I'm getting beside myself. Let's come back to that later. This is a 1 to 8 player party game that will likely be a very short review because I'm going to show you how the game plays, tell you why I like it, and I do like it, and then from there, I guess explain how you can play in larger groups, although it's pretty self-explanatory. In Blob Party, the goal is to become a unified blob. Let's say there's 8 of you at the table. You have your 8 little cards over here. You're doing your thing. You have your little Play-Doh over here as well. This is not as much my jam, honestly. I don't like Play-Doh, so I'm going to put this off to the side. I don't play with that. The other people I play with do like it. It's very charming. You create a little blob of Play-Doh, and then everyone has their own little blob, and then as you become a team, you merge together your blob. It's very charming. I just don't want to touch the Play-Doh. But the goal of the game, like I said already, is you have, let's say, 8 players, all separate entities, all trying to become a unified blob. And the way you do that is you have questions. You have 7 questions to answer, and you have 7 questions to become a unified blob. And yes, this works well with 8 people, it works well with 32 people, and you still can do it with only 7 questions, generally. I don't think I've actually lost this game yet, although it's very, very fun either way. In the game, you're going to go ahead, you're going to flip over a category card. Once you've done that, we have art as a category. Let's go ahead and pick 3 of these cards over here. We're going to select hot art, space art, or school art. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm going to go ahead and, let's go with hot art, okay? We're going to go with hot art over here. Do I do hot art? Space art could be fun. What's space art? What's school art? School art is going to be, I don't know. We're just going to do hot art. We're going to stick with my initial instinct. We're going to go with hot art because the goal is, as the person choosing the category, and that's going to go round and round each round, as the person, by the way, this over here, this is why I don't like Play-Doh, because this is a piece of Play-Doh on a card from even just showing you the game, and now there's going to be Play-Doh everywhere. It's not as bad as glitter, mind you, but it's not my jam. So we have hot art as the category. I'm going to go ahead and grab this, and I want you, over there at home, playing at home, I want you to think of something that matches with hot art. And I'm actually going to do 3 things over here. I'm going to, just show you 3 different people, give you a simulation of a 4-player game. You are currently playing a 4-player game of Blob Party. So I'm going to do this over here. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to do that. I'm going to have player number 2 over here. They're going to do, okay. My handwriting is atrocious, but I'll tell you what I wrote. And then over here for this other category, we're going to do, I don't know. My handwriting is atrocious. Great. I've gotten 3 people over here. I've locked it in. You got your guess? You got your guess? You ready? I won't be able to do your guess properly, but we're going to do this anyway. We're going to go ahead and show you. We have candle wax over here, we have melted crayons over here, and we have crayon wax over here. Now, I specifically chose 2 different terminologies, but crayon wax and melted crayons, that's the same concept. Over here, candle wax, maybe not as much. You do have some leeway to kind of have the same concept at play, as opposed to having the exact text over there, but that means what just happened, and I don't know what you chose, but I'm going to pretend you chose something that's neither of these, because it's going to help me continue this example where I don't know what you did. But that means yellow and blue just became a single unified blob in the game. Versus green over here, they're on their own. So now we're down to 3 players in this 4-player game. There's you, there's green, and there's yellow-blue that are going to stay this one entity. And now we go to the next card. We're going to go ahead and grab a second card over here, and it's going to be nature. We're going to draw 3 from the top of here, and we have orange, airplane, and lightning. And I'm going to go with lightning because I think that's actually a fairly easy one. A little less exciting than, playing through the real game and all that stuff. But for lightning, we have lightning and nature, and I'm going to go ahead and, you know what? We have blue and yellow are going to confer over here. Blue wants to do this, yellow wants to do this. Okay, cool. They decided to do this word over here. They agreed. They talked as a single entity, but they're submitting a single clue. Okay, so we have lightning and nature, and we're going to go ahead, and we're going to show you, because I'm guessing you did the same thing, because we're going to go ahead and show you storm. Storm over here is going to be our word for both of these. Again, they have horrible handwriting, both players over here, but we did storm and lightning. Nature and lightning is going to produce storm as our card. Assuming you did storm, we just won the game in only 2 questions, which honestly, that was a fairly easy combination. Sometimes it takes a little bit more time, but that's the basic idea of the game. So you'll have all kinds of different things you'll have. I remember there was one that was Spacebook. We had like 8 people in a room, and it was Spacebook. And then the camps were divided up between Dune and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy were the 2 options for Spacebook. But you're going to have concepts and categories together to effectively take a group of people and across the course of 7 questions, make them into a single unified blob. That's how you play the game. Just, if you win too quickly, play again. Other times it'll take you like 6 or 7 questions, because eventually you'll have groups of players. If you start with 8 people, you might be down to a blob of 6 and a blob of 2 at the very end, and you all have to submit a single answer for your part of the blob in order to finally become a single group entity. And that is how you play Blob Party, which means it's time for the review, starting off with, I'm not going to actually stick to my traditional structure over here because it's a short enough game to talk about. Blob Party is fantastic. This is a game where, the way I often put it when I'm talking about the game is, I have never been so excited to be less involved in the decision making in a game. Blob Party gives you a sense of unity. That's what this game does. As the game progresses, you have less agency. You start off making your own choice, but ideally, by within a round or two, you are part of a group, and now your voice is just one of many. And so suddenly you have 4 or 5 people talking together. What should we do? What about this? And you have a vote. And it's now part of the conversation. Your voice gets lower and lower as the game progresses. The amount of agency you have over the game gets less and less as you are winning. But it's exciting. It's exciting to have a group of 8 disparate people, and then across these bizarre categories that line up. Lightning in nature, I think, was a simple one. Although, honestly, I don't know if you chose storm. Inherently, some of you did and some of you didn't. And so you have that aspect of coming together as a group, but it's a unifying game. It feels like a group of people who are coming together across the course of playing. It works well at 8 players. It works well at any player count. Just write whatever you want on any piece of paper. Use your phone if you want and just show the screen. You can do anything you want to actually submit the answers, and just go ahead and just start answering questions. That's the game. That is what Blob Party does. Now, there are a few things that don't work as well about the game, because as much as I like it, the core game is just a group of people coming together as they try to figure out what other people are going to do based on the same thing. It's not about you being a unique special snowflake. You might have the cleverest answer to lightning nature that anyone has ever done before, but don't do it. Do the thing that you think everyone else is choosing. Become part of the hive mind. Be a sheep. This is the game where you want to be a sheep in Blob Party. But that's basically it. As far as things I don't like in the game, though, there are some small things. The first is sometimes you get categories that are just all over the place. You might have a category for, I don't know, music train. What's music train? I have no idea. Music train, I'm sure there's things you can do. Is that even a category? I think it might be 2 words. Oh no, we do have music here. It depends on where the cards are, but you might have any number of things can just merge in a way that doesn't give you a good answer, and you have a bunch of different answers across the board, and no one really syncs up. Although sometimes when you have those, it's actually extra satisfying when 2 people do sync up, despite a bad category. Other times you have things that are too obvious. You can have this game. I have won Blob Party within like 2 rounds of play sometimes. It's not common, but it does happen. Sometimes you just sync up very quickly, and it's a little less satisfying. I find getting in like 5 to 7 questions is where the game shines. Having a large group of people, having like 30 people in a room, to slowly come together into a single unified entity is such a satisfying experience. This is a great party game. This is a great convention game. This is a mediocre at best 3-person experience. Yes, you can play it with 3 people. Can you play it with less? I mean, it says 4-day players, so you can't play with 3 people. 4-day players, you can play with 4 people. It is not a satisfying 4-person game, in my opinion. It works best at high player counts, so it is a game that you really want those higher player counts. I think 4 is like, I don't know if I'd want to play it at 4. I think 6 is probably the minimum player count I'd want to play this as, because the whole satisfaction of the game is people coming together across the course of a bunch of questions, and that's just inherently less satisfying at 4 than it is at 6 or 8 or 16 or 32 or 64 or 128. Honestly, I'd love to play a 128-person game of Blob Party. That would be incredibly satisfying. It would also be a pain, because you'd have to read out 128 answers, and that might be too many. Let's stick with like 32. 32 is a good number for the game. That's basically where I am in this. It's not the perfect game for every situation, but when you have that group of people that's the right size of people, you can just have an incredibly satisfying time playing Blob Party. That's my review. This is a 4 out of 5 for me. It's a 4 out of 5. It's a little simplistic in what it does. There's a limit to how much intricacy there is, but it's just one of the more satisfying party games I have played in recent years because of what it does and how it does it. If you're looking for other game recommendations, other games that have you trying to get in the minds of your teammates, although in less cooperative experiences, there's Decrypto and Codenames. Both of those are similarly about trying to get into the minds of the other players, the players on your team. Those two are competitive unless you're playing Codenames Duet, which is cooperative, but it's the same general idea of trying to piece things together in a way that you think others will be able to get into your mind and see things the way you do. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.